Hey Nikki, sorry for not getting back to you so late here, but it's been a madhouse. What I want to do is I want to give you a little history on the system, and I'm also going to send you another video which is a little more, I think I'm wearing a shirt and tie in that one, and I look a little younger. It's only last year. Had my hair cut the other day, a lot of gray, I look older. It has nothing to do with the video. Anyway, so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the program, how it came to be, and let you know that if your school seems to be agreeable and amenable to new things, this will be great. If they're a little uptight about stuff, not going to be great. If they're a little uptight, the kids would love it. If they're a little amenable, the kids would love it. The kids love the program. I started this in a school of 450, and every single kid loved the program. Couldn't have been better. I'm going to give you a little history on it. We're in a PD, a staff meeting one day, not a PD. And 100% English language learners, more than 50% undocumented, 100% Latino students, all Spanish speaking, mostly Ecuadorian, some from Mexico, some South America, all over the place, but all ELLs. Anyway, so we have this meeting, and one of the teachers, we're talking about things that we could improve. How do we fix things? And the major problem was the language. Now, most of the kids had been there for 2 to 3 years. A little further background, I was there for 4. My first year teaching living environment, everybody had region scores at about, 25-30%. I took over chemistry. And it was kind of like Jaime Escalante walking into an AP class. When you take average kids, just regular old kids, and believe they can do better, students will rise to the level of our expectations. And I took, in 2 years, I had 100% passing the New York State chemistry regions. Our regions passing rate was still at about 25 to 30%. Needless to say, I was the golden boy in the school. And we got a new principal, and you know how that goes. And so what happened was, we're in this meeting, and they say, how can we get the kids to speak more English? Everybody asks this. So I said, why don't we take a button and put it on our chest that says, speak English with me? Nikki, you could have heard a pin drop in the room, dead silence. You know, when you're telling kids speak English. God forbid. And as a result, they just kind of brushed it off. I said, I'm serious. Put a thing. Didn't want to talk about it. So one of the teachers saw me after, and she was like, wow, that's pretty outrageous, you know, really not too politically correct. I said, you know, our kids want to speak English. I said, you don't think that they're crossing the border of several countries to get here to make a living, not to learn English? I said, you would have to be an idiot to think that. You would have to be stupid to believe our kids don't want to speak English. And the problem is that we are pussyfooting around the engagement. We are pussyfooting around the immersion. Nikki, you and I know. You know, when we were first in China, I picked a little up the first time. The second time I was there, over in Xiangyu by Hangzhou, it was a whole different experience. From being there and getting out and walking until 1 o'clock in the morning in the streets and just talking with people, immersing myself in the language made all the difference. So what does this tell us? It tells us that everything we know today comes from China. True or false? Okay. So anyway, so after this meeting the next day, I said, you know what, heck with this. I took a piece of paper and I wrote, speak English with me, and I put it on my chest. It was more as a, I was being more facetious than anything else. So one of the teachers, I'm in first all the time, one of the teachers comes in after me, she looks and she says, oh, did the principal see that? I said, well, she's not really in yet, so she, you know, I said, I don't really, you know, we want the kids to speak English. Oh, she said, you are going to be in so much trouble with that. Really? They're not firing a doctor out of the New York City public school system, let me tell you that right now. And so, especially for a button. So one thing led to another. I had a couple of kids come in. And the kids who came in early, they're usually my sharpest kids. So the kids were like, oh, doctor, can I have a button? Okay, so I'm cutting out buttons and this and that. So by the end of the day, a bunch of kids have buttons, 24 buttons. I went home that night and I took a glass on my table and I cut out paper buttons, speak English. Handed out more the next day. Next day I went home and I put it on a word processing document. and I cut them out. By the end of the week, every student in the school had one of these on. Teachers were besides themselves. Now these are non-native Spanish-speaking teachers. Some of them were actually the ones who were native Spanish-speaking thought it was a great idea. The young white preppy teachers who just happen to speak Spanish, took Spanish. They thought it was the worst thing in the whole world. And so the kids loved it. Next thing you know, I go out and I buy a button maker because these things are falling apart. So I buy a button maker. And I start making buttons. And I get all these buttons made up. And they're all over the school. And the teachers I'm telling you, Nikki, the teachers were flipping out. Principal hadn't said a word because she really never came out of her room. AP, great guy, thought it was a great idea. So it goes on for a couple of weeks. Everybody's got the buttons on. And they're coming in for more. They got them on their book bag. They got another thing. And they found out that this is the reason. It's not for me to be wearing the button and say, you speak English with me. It's for students to openly engage with others, to have people engage with them who are native speakers. To speak. It would be like you and me saying, sure, putain with me, whatever. I don't even know, but whatever it is. And so I got the button maker. I made the buttons. Everybody's got them. They got them on their hats. They have them on their book bag. They think it's absolutely phenomenal. One of the teacher who came in and she first said that I was going to get in trouble. Heaven to Betsy with the principal. She came and she said, you know what? She said, I was completely wrong. She said, I see that you are creating an invitation to have students speak with you and to have them speak with native English speakers. I said, wow, that wasn't hard, was it? This is a simple, this is like the other end of the consulting that I do. This is a marketing principle. It's a marketing ploy. We're actually marketing English to non-native speakers who want the product. They want to be able to speak. So, one thing led to another. You know that I ended up putting the book together. And I know because my picture's on the back of it. And I'm going to give you a little bit of, so what happened? Okay, so this is why you don't want to show this to people because it's too haphazard. I've got to lay off the coffee in the morning. So principal calls me in about 2.5 weeks later. And, oh, hi, Mike, how are you? Hi, Mike, how are you? This can't be good. And she said, have a seat. Oh, this is not good. Just put the letter in my file and let's not have the conversation. Let's save the conversation letter in the file. She said, oh, I saw your buttons. She said, I didn't know where they were coming from. All of a sudden, they're sprouting up all over the school. I started this about, I'm thinking October, November, December, somewhere around there. So the program can be started any time of the school year. It does not matter. First half is best. Beginning of the school year is best. And I'm going to talk about overt and covert openings for this. So she said, yeah, I saw the buttons, and I saw 3 of our top students. Now, these were 3 top students, 3 girls I had in my chemistry class who did pass the New York State Regents. And she said, I saw them in the hallway, and they all had the buttons on. And they were, now, keep in mind, the principal, Latino, students, Latino. Everybody in the building, Latino, except for our non-native white Spanish speakers, and the assistant principal. And she said, I saw them speaking Spanish, and I went up and I pointed to one of their buttons. She said, instantly the conversation converted over to English, and they went on speaking English. She said, that's what I want for these students. She said, I want them to become fluent in English. She said, I know that if they graduate without English, they're going to fail in society. They're going to walk out of this building, and they're going to fail. So she said, what I'd like you to do, would you mind starting a pilot program in our school? Nikki, how cool is this? Principal wants you to start a pilot program. So one thing led to another. I said, this is great, wonderful, I'll get on it right away. Started putting out the buttons. A couple of months went by, started figuring, can't just give out buttons. So everybody has white buttons. So I said, you know what? I want these kids to be at the top of their game. I want them to be the very best English speakers they can be. So why don't we make it so they are going to be Olympic quality English speakers. So what I did was I tried to get as many white buttons back as I could. I ended up keeping those for teachers. And I gave everybody a green one. Ooh, they were like a color. So everybody got a green one. And because green is gold. It's the only time I really like to use green. Usually I like to use red, especially for marking papers, contrary to what everybody else believes. So I got the white ones back, handed the green ones out. Hey, everybody's got a green button. So then I said, let's make them Olympic quality speakers. So I ended up making bronze, silver, and gold buttons. And what happened was I needed a way to assess the students. I needed a way to figure out how do you move up. And so what I did was I put together a subjective, all subjective, assessments in the book. And it's a rubric. And it gives you a basic breakdown on what you should be listening for. And you're probably saying, listening for when? What am I doing? So if they have a green button, here's the whole idea behind it. Once you have the buttons out, if you're doing it covertly, where you're just slipping them in, everybody's getting a green button that says speak English with me, you're going to have some of your better English speakers go around to rooms and explain the program. You know, we've instituted this program. We think that we know that you're all here to be successful. We know you all want to learn English, regardless of what you may say, do, or act. We know you all want to learn English, and we know you want to be successful. Now, this is what your top students are going to be telling each one of your classes as they walk around. And when they go around, they said that they will tell them that they are going to be doing an assessment. If they want to move their way up, they're going to be moving up to from gold to bronze, silver, and gold, from green to bronze, silver, and gold buttons. Your key is the gold. That's your ring that you're reaching for, the brass ring, the gold ring. And so I said we have to come up with some way to do this. So what I did was I had figured, since a lot of what we're doing is just oral, I need to have some way that we can quiz them orally. We need to be able to have every teacher available with buttons, bags, coffee cans full of different color buttons. And so any student who comes in, since English is going to be the overlying theme in the program, everybody has to have a bunch of bronze, silver, and gold buttons, so that any student can walk into any teacher's room at any time and be informally quizzed, informally assessed. And the assessments come in two different forms. They come in, one is just questions, and the other one is, I put a little stamp on the back of these, and it seeps through. But the other one is a picture. So this is a fairly simple picture. Kid sitting in a chair, watching TV, and he fell asleep. This is something we all do. So this is something, I mean, anybody would be, I should put a textbook on his lap. Maybe that would be more appropriate. And so, so what you do is when they come in, I don't care what they say. Now, this is the whole thing with the program. I don't care what they say, what they do. I just want you. You remember with China, we just want to get the words out of their mouth. I don't care what they sound with. I just want to engage and immerse them and put them on the spot. Part of this is creating a bit of what they call, I don't know if you've heard the term eustress, E-U-S-T-R-E-S-S. It's a new term, and it relates to a positive stress in order that people have to go through when they're learning something new. So they come in with the green button on, and they're like, hey, doctor. So they're pointing to, I don't care what they do. And so you say, okay, so you are, certainly if they're just pointing and saying doctor or miss or whatever, you're not going to start asking them involved questions, but you're going to hold up the green card because they have the green button on. And you're going to hold that up. And on the back I have a sampling of questions that you could ask. And if they have no English skills, nothing at all, you tell them to go get an amigo, tell them to get a buddy, tell them to get a relative, somebody outside in the hallway, I don't care who it is. Bring them in, have them translate first few sentences. So on the back here, first question, what's happening in the picture? ¿Qué pasa? What's happening in the picture? And they would have to say something in English. They have to give you something. I don't care what it is. Second question, is this a man or a woman? How do you know? Are they looking up or are they looking down? Okay, why? Are they happy? Are they sad? Are they young? Are they old? So there's so many questions you could ask about this picture, and everybody understands what the picture is. The kid, no matter what the language is, everybody knows what this is. Watching TV, fell asleep in the chair. When they get a little better at this, and really when they start to get not to the point where they're going to be moving up to the bronze button, but where they start to get a little better at this, you can start to take out the green card and intersperse some other questions. What's your name? How old are you? What day is today? Is it hot today? Is it cold today? What is your mother's name? Are you hungry? What's your favorite food? So when they go through this, through the assessment, some of the things that you're going to be looking at for the assessment are going to be understands little to no English or demonstrates some syntax, some little bit of something. Attempts to speak or answer, but has difficulty communicating. Student requires some facilitator, person in there. This is, again, it's subjective, but it is based on levels of understanding. My levels of understanding, and I'm sure that you would agree with most of these. If anybody wanted to change, I wouldn't be happy about it, but moving one from one to another, it's not a big deal. Anyway, let me just make sure the film is still running. Okay, we're still running, and I think I'm going to have to go get another button that I have here that I need to show you, so don't go anywhere. Got it. My birds are being very good. They're not squawking over there. Okay, so now when they complete, you go through the assessment, and they're able to answer these and to meet what you see as the bottom requirements for the passing of the green button up to the gold. Then you're going to take their green button and you're going to give them a bronze. So now they worked up to the bronze. They're very excited. It's like graduation day. So now when they come in the next time, they're going to say, good morning. They're going to be saying something. They're going to want to get up to the next button, and the next button is going to be silver. Okay, so next button, I don't have my silvers here. I don't have my silver pages. But we're going to say, I'm going to give you an example between the bronze. Okay, so the bronze questions are going to look something like this. Okay. Now this, I put this on because I think most people who are English language learners understand something having to do with this picture. They understand the flag, they understand the man holding up the hand, and they understand possibly a judge here. It looks like a citizenship commencement ceremony. And so some of these questions would be, what's happening in the picture? Who is the man close to the flag? Who is that man? What is his occupation? What is his job? What does he do? And again, with the questions on the back here, if you want, in your class, you can make little notes on here, because if someone doesn't get, if one of the questions you find that they're having difficulty with, you can make a little note on there. That's why I didn't laminate the cards. Once you get through these, next questions with bronze are no longer going to be what's your name? Is it cold or hot? It's going to be, did you eat breakfast? What are you wearing? Be specific. What is that? What is this? What is that? Do you have your hair straight or curly? So you're moving up in questions. When they finish with this, when they get through both of these cards, and this could take a while. This could take weeks to months. Then you're going to take their bronze, and you're going to give them a silver. Eventually, they are going to move their way up to the gold. Okay, so now, what else do I have to tell you about the program? I got a new principal in, and I am so excited because we left off with the piloting the program. The kids come in the next year. Everybody's got the buttons on. They're all excited. I stop them in the hall. I'm constantly asking them questions, hitting them with things. And this is the nice part, Nikki, this is the beauty of this system. You know when you're in a total English language learner environment, and you don't know how much the kid knows. This is like the beginning of the movie Stand and Deliver, when Jaime Escalante goes into the room, first off, right off the room, and he has the Latino kids up against the wall, and he says something, would you please take a seat? And they're like, hey, you know. He doesn't know what levels they are, but if the students are wearing a green or gold or bronze or silver, it's a nice way to engage them. Oh, hey, you're silver. Oh, you're bronze. Oh, look at you, you're gold. Hey, you're green. You're just starting out. You know, so you know how to pace your conversation too. You know at what speed you're going to be speaking with them. Because sometimes the kids don't say anything and you don't know. If you have a student who's coming in and they're stuck on one level, you're going to leave them with their button, whatever it is. So they're going to have their bronze button, and you're going to give them this button. The little heart button. This means we love you. I love you. I love you, Nikki. And I love the kids. And you love the kids. And we love the kids. And this is not demanding that they speak with us. This is an invitation. And this says, I love you. And I know you want to speak English. That's why you're here. So what I'm going to do is when I see you in the hallway, the kids who are wearing the heart button, kids love the heart buttons, even more than these. When I see you with the heart button, I'm going to engage you any chance I get. Doesn't matter how I engage you. Kids walking down the hall, you see them with the bronze thing. Hey, how are you? Hi, good morning. Anything. You might normally engage them with the bronze, but when you see this, you are mandated to say something. I don't care what it is. And you remember, well, you remember, I remember from being in China. The more they hit me with stuff, the better I got. And we have to stop being afraid of engagement. So, speaking of being afraid, second principal comes into the school, and another woman, female Latino principal. I'm all excited. Program is going great. Everybody first day, they get the buttons. I walk in, I said, hi, I'm Dr. Cubbin. I got the program. Oh, whoa. She said, those buttons are not going to be brought into my school. I said, okay. She said, you will not tell my students that they must be speaking English with you. I said, okay. Good. I had the whole thing. So I had the whole thing. I had pinned on a little thing. It was like a little merit badge from a Boy Scout. I had the whole program ready to show her. So needless to say, kids are still wearing the buttons. This was when I was there. Kids are still wearing the buttons. And she gets up and the beginning of the year tells the whole school, based on, I'm sure, conversation with me, that new policy. Students do not have to answer in your classes in English. They can answer in all Spanish if they like, even though I don't speak Spanish. I took 3 years of it, didn't get habla español. I got nothing out of it. And so she said they can answer in Spanish whatever they want. And she said you are not to tell them to speak English with you. This was a direct thing to me. Teachers came up to me afterward. They were like, what do we do with the buttons? Guidance counselor came up to me. She goes, Dr. Cobb, Spanish, Dr. Cobb, and she said, the kids want their buttons. And I said, look, she said, can't have them. I said, I got a whole bucket of them in the closet. Can't have them. She said, well, just give them to me. I said, I'm not going to give them to you because if it comes back, where'd you get them from? I'm handing out more buttons. Needless to say, the kids' level of English went down the next year. The kids' level of engagement went down the next year. Kids were, needless to say, Nikki, they were really unhappy. Particularly our Latino kids who are great, great kids. They want to speak English. They're embarrassed. They're shy. They're self-conscious. They're unprepared. We have to change that. And these buttons, my goal, these buttons are what's going to do it. So I just want to give you a little heads up on that. I'm going to send along this video. I'll put this on YouTube and I'll send you both links. But I just want to tell you that, you're not going to see a program like this out there. Nobody has this program. I created it. I figured it out. It's all mine. And if you want to start, I have supplies here. Speak to your school. I have supplies here that I could probably set you up with to get you going. I don't know, you tell me how many students you have and we'll figure something out. But also, which is secondary, see if they have any finances to put towards the materials and everything else. Which is, to me, honestly, Nikki, it's secondary. You take this and run with it. I would rather get a good recommendation than get reimbursed for it. Reimbursement is not bad, especially coming out of schools. But let me know where we stand, and I'll send this off to you. It's all about China, Nikki. Never forget that. I talk about China so much. The kids say that to me. They go, is everything about China? Yes, it is. Okay, so anyway, I love you, and I will, my China soulmate, I will talk to you soon. And let me know what you think. Call me up, 631-664-7885, 631-664-7885. Let me know what you think. Okay, Nikki, love you. I'll talk to you soon.